Age gap. Which gap do you want to talk about today? Well, we're going to blow it all out today, and we're going to start with the lie of the gender gap. Are women treated unfairly in the workplace compared to men? Well, Carrie Lukas with Independent Women's Forum has a few things to say on that topic. Welcome, Carrie.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on.
Thanks for being with us. All right, the first thing I want to start with is just a straight up question, Carrie. Is there such a thing as the gender gap? I mean, to most of the society, that's a given. Women, we have it rough. We need to whine and complain. We don't get the same pay. We work more. Tell us, how bad is it out there?
You know, it's really interesting because there absolutely is a statistic that will show you that on average women earn less money than men. But the statistic you hear so often and kind of the complaint is that men make less than men. That women make less than men do for the same work. And that's just not what the statistics are showing. The truth is that men and women tend to gravitate towards different jobs. Women tend to work fewer hours than men, even if they are working full time. They take more time out of the workforce. They make a lot of decisions, in other words, that reduce how much money they take home in pay. And that's the main cause of those statistical differences. So, I do think this is important information for women to have because it's better to know that the choices you make are what are determining how much you earn rather than feel like you're a helpless victim and society is just out to get you.
Huh. Well, because I would rather work a job that I love every day than work a job that makes more money. And I think a lot of women make that choice. And do we really want to scream about parity and thrust ourselves into jobs that maybe we don't love as much because there's a quality of life to consider here?
Well, and that's absolutely the case. I think one of the biggest kind of misunderstandings in the conversation about the wage gap is there's this presumption when you hear about it talked about in the media, when the left kind of laments this idea, they paint this picture as if men are all sitting in boardrooms and being paid, smoking cigars and being paid all this money and their coworker women are getting paid much less. But the truth is that when you look at the jobs that men and women tend to do and kind of the differences in the types of jobs that men and women gravitate towards, and men are out there doing a lot of dirty, distasteful, and sometimes physically grueling jobs. They're out there driving trucks overnight. They're working the late shift. They're working in sewers and guarding prisons. There's a lot of things they do that don't have the best kind of quality of life aspects. And why do they do it? Because it offers bigger paychecks. Women, on the other hand, tend to value having better schedules, having things that let them be at home at regular hours so they can be with their kids. And yeah, women place a higher value on having a pleasant work environment where they get to do something they find fulfilling, get to work with people they like, get to help people and work with kids. And those jobs tend to pay a little bit less. But women are aware of that, whether they think about it, they consciously know it or not, they're making that choice and are aware of these trade-offs. And you're right, it's not to say one is better than the other, but we all need to be free to make the choices that make sense for us.
I'm a skeptic, Carrie, and I'm always looking for ulterior motives. And I have to be honest with you, when I really look at this situation, someone said to me today, do you think that a certain coach is going to leave a certain championship football team? And I said, no, I really don't think so. I think that generally people like to tear down those who are successful. And I think people like to try to